Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in again. In this segment, we're going to be talking about what happens after the offer to purchase. So, we're pre-approved. We've done our home search. We've looked. We found the home we wanted. We wrote that offer to purchase. Now, the next part is the negotiation. Remember, everything here is two-sided. You have yourself who's the buyer, and you have the seller. And you have agents on each side who will do the negotiations. When you write an offer to purchase, the seller has a couple options. The seller can accept it. Yay, great thing. Let's all hope that happens. Doesn't happen often, but good. And we're always happy when it does. The seller can flat reject your offer. I just had that happen to me personally when an offer I wrote and the seller just flat out wouldn't even come back with anything. Okay, well that we don't like to have happen. That's bad. Or the seller has the option of doing what we call a counter offer. The seller looks at your offer and says, okay, well I like this, 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 but I don't like that. Whether it's the closing date, it's the amount you offered, it could be a testing, it could be whatever. And what they can do is they can write what we call a counter offer. And again, we're sticking to Wisconsin. Because in other states, there are lawyers that negotiate this. Here we still have agents doing it. So you get a counter offer, and then you can look at it and decide whether you like it, or if you don't, your agent can counter that offer again. And you can keep going back and forth with counter offers. There's one deal, I think I did 8 counter offers, so we finally came to an agreement. For each of these things, we have what we call a time when everything has to be done, or time is of the essence. Binding agreement must be signed by this date. When you write your offer to purchase, your agent will say, this offer to purchase must be accepted by 24 hours from now. Well, if the seller is going to accept the offer as is, they need to sign it within that time period. If they don't, you have the right to go and look at another house and write on another house. Let's say you were really tight with 2 houses. You couldn't decide, do you want this one or this? You say, well, we're going to try that one first. They don't like, we're going to go get the other house. Well, when they're not answering and you decide, well, you know what? I'm not going to wait for this guy because I'm not going to lose that other house because now I know there's others looking at it. I'm going to go get that one quick. He didn't follow time is of the essence. So guess what? You get to go get your other house and you're done. If you choose to keep countering, then that time is of the essence, it doesn't really count as much. You get an extra day usually to do the counter offer. If an agent wants to, usually you'll try and stick in that time period if you can. Then what can happen, and it gets confusing, but if there's more than one offer on a house, we have what we call the Wisconsin multiple counter proposal. And that means, let's say there's 3 offers on the same house. Now, Mr. Seller may like the offer price in offer 1, he may like the closing date in offer 2, and he may like the lack of inspections in offer 3. So he decides to do a multiple counter proposal. And he can send a different counter offer on this multiple counter form to each buyer. Each potential buyer gets a different one. If you agree to what's on that multiple counter that you receive and you sign it, that still doesn't mean you get the house, because the others could all agree too. He gets to decide in the end which of those 3 he's actually going to take. Binding acceptance occurs. What we call binding acceptance occurs when all parties have agreed, everything's been negotiated, everybody signs it, and now you have binding acceptance. At that point, you move on to working on your financing and our contingencies, which we'll get into in the next segment. Again, thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe to our channel and let Kraus find your perfect house.